Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking honestly, a really provocative essay by an author named Lunarize.
Yeah, it's called When Jobs Fall Away, Earth May Be Returning Us to Ourselves.
Right, and our mission today is to figure out what actually happens to human identity when the jobs we've, built our entire lives around suddenly disappear or just radically change.
Which is incredibly timely. I mean,
Yeah.
considering the massive wave of career shifts and industry disruptions we're living through right now.
Oh, absolutely. The AI advancements alone have people completely rethinking everything.
Yeah, totally.
And to really get us into this headspace, I want you, the listener, to picture this. You're standing in the kitchen at a dinner party.
Classic scenario.
Right. Or maybe you're wearing a lanyard at some generic networking event and someone hands you a drink, makes eye contact, and asks the most unavoidable question in modern society.
So what do you do?
Exactly. What do you do? And think about how quickly you answer that. Do you immediately state your job title?
Most people do.
Yeah, like I'm a project manager or I'm a graphic designer. It just rolls right off the tongue. We basically use our labor as our primary introduction to the world.
It's the ultimate social shortcut, isn't it?
It really is.
But we kind of forget how relatively new that shortcut actually is. Like, for most of human history, if you asked someone who they were, they'd name their family.
Right, or their village.
Exactly. Or maybe their relationship to land. But ever since the Industrial Revolution, we've been conditioned to categorize ourselves by our economic output.
Wow, yeah.
The factory bell literally synchronized human identity with productivity. So we use that party question to figure out exactly where someone fits into the machinery of society. It puts you in a neat, legible box.
But right now, for a massive chunk of the population, that box is just being crushed.
Completely.
People are feeling this intense, almost dizzying vertigo because the answer to that dinner party question is suddenly completely up in the air.
Yeah, and we blame the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence, market downturns, corporate restructuring.
Right. And when your identity is entirely fused to your economic output, an economic disruption isn't just a disruption, it's devastating.
It feels like an erasure of the self. You aren't just losing a paycheck. You're losing your coordinates in the world.
Which is exactly why the premise of this article by Lunarize is so jarring. I mean, the author is proposing a complete reframing of this entire cultural moment.
Yeah.
What if what we're experiencing right now isn't a collapse at all? What if we're being asked to uncouple our identity from our labor completely?
The language we use matters so much here, because when we call a career transition a collapse, we're implying that the structural foundation of our life is breaking.
Right, like the house is falling down.
Exactly. But Lunarize suggests that maybe life, and they use life with a capital L, almost like a biological force.
Oh, did I notice that?
Yeah, that life is actually asking us to remember something we forgot. It's an invitation to realize you were never only valuable for what you produce.
And to really get to the bottom of that, we have to look at the sharp distinction Lunarize draws between two specific concepts, function and essence.
Right.
Because we are taught from grade school to build our entire lives around functions.
Yeah, and a function is just entirely utilitarian. It's a set of tasks. It's, the ability to balance a ledger, write lines of code, assemble a product.
And because of that, a function is inherently vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Functions can be optimized. They can be automated by software.
Or outsourced.
Exactly. Or you might just outgrow them. If you attach your sense of worth to a function, you are basically building your house on a tectonic plate in the modern economy.
It's definitely going to shift.
It will eventually shift, yes.
But then there's essence, which Lunarize describes as your unrepeatable signature. It has nothing to do with the spreadsheet you update.
Oh, not at all.
Your essence is like how you listen to a colleague who's quietly drowning in stress. It's how you manage to see that one human detail in a project that the algorithms completely miss.
Right. It's the specific way your presence changes the temperature of a room when you walk into it.
Yeah.
Think about any team you've ever worked on. You can hire two people to execute the exact same functional job description.
Yeah.
Right? They do the exact same task, but one of them carries a completely different energy. They bring the quality, their essence, that fundamentally alters the ecosystem of that office.
And that's the part of a human being that no replacement hire and definitely no software update can ever replicate.
Never.
It's almost like, well, think about your smartphone.
Okay.
The hardware and the operating system, that's the function, right?
Yeah.
It makes calls, it runs apps, it connects to Wi-Fi. It's highly useful, but it's also completely standardized and totally expendable.
Right. If it breaks, you just get a new one.
Exactly. If you drop it in a puddle, you don't mourn the glass and the metal, you just buy a new one. But the essence is the unique photos, the personal text messages, the voice notes from your kids stored inside it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You can buy a new phone, but you cannot buy a new repository of your specific lived memories. The hardware is just the vessel.
That works to a point, but I'd actually push back slightly on that smartphone analogy.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Well, with a phone, the hardware and the data are separate. You can back up your photos to the cloud and download them into a new device. But in a human being, the function and the essence are completely intertwined.
That's true.
You can't extract someone's empathy or their specific brand of humor and just upload it into the new hire.
Wow. Yeah.
The workplace treats people like hardware, constantly swapping us out, but it's the human essence that actually gives a company its culture, its resilience, and its meaning.
That makes a ton of sense. You can't put a person's essence on a thumb drive.
Huh.
But, okay, here's where I get stuck.
Yeah.
I think most people listening intellectually agree with this. We know we're more than our job titles, but if we know that, why does it hurt so physically when a career ends? Like, why does the anxiety feel like a literal heart attack?
Because your nervous system does not care about your intellectual epiphanies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, intellectual knowing and biological reality operate on two totally different frequencies. To understand why job loss feels like physical death, you really have to look at evolutionary biology.
Okay, take me there.
For hundreds of thousands of years, being useful to your tribe was the only way you survived. If you couldn't hunt, gather, or contribute a function, the tribe couldn't afford to keep you around.
You'd just be cast out into the cold.
Exactly.
So social rejection literally meant physical death.
Yes. Neurologically, the brain processes social rejection and loss of status using the exact same pain pathways it uses to process a broken leg.
Wait, really? The exact same pathways?
The exact same ones. So when your function is threatened today, like by a layoff or a new AI tool, your brain doesn't rationally say, oh, my administrative tasks are being optimized by software.
Right.
Your amygdala fires off a massive alarm saying, I am no longer needed by the tribe, therefore I am going to die. It is deeply primal.
That evolutionary panic actually perfectly explains a story Lunarize includes in the article. It's this deceptively simple anecdote about a children's book.
Oh, the kangaroo story. I love this part.
Right, so the author's daughter brings home a preschool book where a farmer brings a kangaroo home to a farm.
And the established farm animals instantly lose their minds.
Complete panic. The cow looks at the kangaroo and immediately starts spiraling like, what if this kangaroo makes more milk than me? I'm going to be replaced.
Yeah, and the sheep looks at the kangaroo and stresses out, what if the kangaroo has better wool?
Exactly. They project their own functional identities onto this new creature, basically assuming it's there to outproduce them in their specific lanes.
Which perfectly mirrors our evolutionary response in the workforce. I mean, the cow and the sheep view the farm as a zero-sum game of utility.
Right.
They can only understand value through their own highly specific metrics of milk and wool. They're terrified because their brain is telling them, if I don't produce the most milk, the farmer throws me out.
But the punchline of the children's story is that the kangaroo didn't come to replace anyone's function. The kangaroo doesn't make milk, it doesn't grow wool. She came with a pouch.
Yeah, a totally different function.
Right. Her unique purpose was to carry the babies. She was there to nurture life in a way that only her biology allowed. And Lunarize writes that once this was understood, the dynamic on the farm shifted, not through outcompeting each other, but through clarity of essence.
The cow makes milk, the kangaroo carries the babies.
Exactly.
It's a great metaphor for how we view newcomers or new tools. When we encounter disruption, our first instinct is always to measure it against our own milk and wool.
Yeah, we always make it a competition.
We rarely stop to ask if the disruption brings a completely different kind of value. A pouch we couldn't even conceive of.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here, because this is where a lot of people listening might be feeling some genuine dread.
Sure, go for it.
It's a heartwarming story, and it's easy for the kangaroo to find a new role because she has a literal biological pouch. But what if you're the sheep in the modern workforce and the metaphorical kangaroo, let's just say artificial intelligence, actually does make better wool?
Right.
Like, what if the AI can write the code faster, generate the legal briefs flawlessly, or crunch the financial data with zero errors? How do we stop panicking and find our pouch when our function is objectively being done better by a machine?
That is the defining anxiety of the 21st century. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is the exact kangaroo everyone is terrified of right now.
Absolutely.
And it's not a baseless fear. It is undeniably fast at producing wool.
Hmm.
But Lunarize leans right into this fear and reveals a brilliant, intentional irony right in the middle of the essay.
Yes. This blew my mind. Lunarize actually confesses right in the text that they used AI to help shape the words of the very article we are discussing.
Yeah, the author doesn't reject the kangaroo.
Hmm.
They collaborate with it to make a vital distinction. AI helped translate the author's insights into language. It helped structure the grammar. It did the functional task of organizing words on a screen. But, and this is the crux of the entire essay,
Hmm.
AI did not feel the moment the daughter brought that book home.
Right.
AI did not sense what landed in the author's chest when they read the story.
It have no lived experience. I mean, it can mimic the output perfectly, but it has zero capacity to actually feel the weight of existence.
It's the difference between simulating a process and actually embodying it. Lunarize points out that technology can support expression, but only the life within us creates meaning.
Yeah.
It points to a future not of replacement, but of relationship. The machine spins the wool so the human can focus on being human.
The technology handles the efficiency, but it cannot replace embodied truth. It cannot replace human presence. Lunarize gives these incredibly grounding examples of this.
Yeah, those were beautiful.
Like, the author talks about the mother who can feel what her child needs before a single word is spoken, or the therapist, the nurse, the healer, whose calm presence actually regulates the nervous system of the patient sitting across from them.
Let's actually dig into how that works, because it's not just poetic language. When Lunarize talks about somatic safety, it's deeply physiological.
Okay, unpack that.
Well, somatic refers to the body, how we physically experience the world from the inside. When a deeply empathetic person sits with you in a room, your body relies on mirror neurons to pick up on thousands of microscopic cues.
Oh, like body language stuff.
Exactly. The cadence of their breathing, the dilation of their pupils, the subtle relaxation of their shoulders. If they are calm, your heart rate variability actually begins to sync with theirs.
That's wild.
That deep physical sense of calm your nervous system feels when another living, breathing person is holding space for you. That is somatic safety.
And a machine simply cannot do that. I mean, a medical AI can scan your chart and give you the statistically correct diagnosis faster than a human doctor. That's the function. Right.
But it cannot walk into the exam room, look you in the eye, and provide the somatic safety you need to process that diagnosis. It can't provide the essence.
Precisely. Meaning and comfort are born through lived awareness, through the quiet wisdom that comes from being physically alive in a fragile body.
So think about your own Tuesday morning meeting, right?
Yeah.
If an AI tool can write the brief, format the slides, and
Yeah.
generate the talking points.
What's left for you?
Exactly. What is the uniquely human thing you are bringing into that room? What is the feeling people get when you log onto the call or pull out your chair? Because if Lunarize is right, that is where your actual irreplaceable value has been hiding this entire time.
Yeah.
It's just been buried underneath all the busy work we thought made us important.
Which forces a really uncomfortable question. If technology is stepping in to free us from these mechanical, repetitive tasks, what is the actual point of us being here?
Yeah, it's a big question.
If we aren't meant to just be biological algorithms producing milk and wool, what is life actually trying to do with us right now? And here is where Lunarize proposes something that completely flips the script on how we view job loss. The author suggests that maybe Earth is not interested in keeping us busy.
Just let that sink in.
Right. We have an entire global culture obsessed with the hustle, but maybe the planet itself doesn't care about our productivity metrics. Instead, maybe Earth is refining us back into alignment.
It's a huge abstract idea, this personification of Earth and life. But if you look at it through the lens of biological systems, it makes perfect sense.
How so?
In nature, systems constantly autocorrect when they get out of balance. Lunarize is suggesting that our obsession with functional output has thrown human consciousness completely out of balance. We carry what the author calls borrowed identities and inherited definitions of success.
Borrowed identities, like becoming a corporate lawyer because your parents pushed you into it, or clawing your way to middle management just because society told you a bigger title equals a better life.
Yes, we buy into the deeply ingrained belief that our work equals our worth. And Lunarize offers this incredible reframing. If something is falling away from your life right now, if you lost a job or a career path you thought was your whole world, it may not actually be your true purpose that you're losing. You might just be losing a costume you wore because it kept you safe.
It's like we're experiencing this aggressive collective pruning. If you think about gardening, and my neighbor is a master gardener, so I watch this happen every spring.
Okay.
Pruning looks incredibly violent. You take these massive, sharp shears and you just hack off branches. To the plant, it probably feels like a total collapse. It's losing limbs it spent years pouring energy into.
Right.
But the gardener doesn't prune to kill the tree. The plant undergoes a biological process called apoptosis, where cells die off so the plant can redirect its nutrients away from dead wood and funnel it into new fruit. The pruning is actually life-clearing space for what is real.
That is a fantastic way to visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
The pain we feel during a career shift is the pain of the shears. We are mourning the dead wood. But cooperating with that process, allowing the nutrients to redirect, requires us to do something modern society has practically outlawed.
What's that?
A deliberate pause.
Oh, we hate the pause.
We really do.
When a branch is cut, our immediate instinct is to grab some duct tape and stick a fake branch right back onto the tree. We update our LinkedIn the very next day.
Totally.
We scramble to find the exact same job title at a different company just to restore the function we lost so the tribe doesn't reject us.
Exactly. We rush to numb the evolutionary panic. But Lunarize offers a piece of actionable advice for anyone standing in the messy, uncomfortable middle of one of these transitions. And it requires immense courage.
The author says, if you're in a season where an old role no longer fits, do not rush to replace it. Don't immediately scramble to fill the void.
Right.
Instead, you have to sit with a deeper, much more intimidating question. Who am I when nothing is required of me?
Who am I when nothing is required of me? Think about how terrifying that is for someone whose entire self-worth has been dictated by a daily to-do list.
It's terrifying because the silence that follows that question is deafening. If you aren't answering emails, if you aren't managing a team, if you aren't producing wool, who is the person left sitting in the chair?
But Lunarize argues that if you can endure that silence without taping a fake branch back on, your answer will eventually surface. And that answer will reveal the gift that only you can carry. Your unique pouch.
Your unrepeatable essence.
Exactly.
It really is a journey, isn't it? We started with that very visceral fear of losing our functional labels, the fear of the AI kangaroo taking over the farm and making us obsolete.
Yeah.
But by looking through Lunarize's lens, we've moved away from the fear of replacement and toward the empowerment of relationship. Technology might take over the busy work, but it's doing so to force us back into our embodied truth.
It's a massive evolutionary leap. We are shifting from a society that values what we do to a society that will have to learn to value how we are.
So to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We talked at the very beginning about that classic dinner party scenario, the what do you do question.
Right.
Our whole world is built on resumes that just list tasks we've completed. But if our true, irreplaceable value is actually our essence, how we listen, how we notice the unseen, how we provide somatic safety in a room full of panicked people,
Yeah.
how would our society fundamentally shift if companies started hiring based on presence rather than productivity?
Oh, wow.
Could the resume of the future be completely decoupled from tasks? Imagine a world where you are interviewed and compensated simply for the unrepeatable signature you bring to the ecosystem of a team.
That would change everything.
It sounds like science fiction right now, but as AI takes over the function, essence will be the only premium commodity left. So the next time you're standing in that kitchen at a party and someone asks you what you do, maybe you don't answer with your hardware. Maybe you let them see the essence.